You're sitting on the couch. She's next to you. The TV's on, but neither of you is watching it. And for a second, you feel this strange quiet, like you're in the same room but somehow on different planets. And that thought comes, uninvited. Why does this feel so far away? You start wondering if you fell out of love, or if you never really were, or if you're just bad at this whole thing. Here's the thing, though, and I'm going to say this clearly because someone needs to. The distance you're feeling right now, it might not be a sign that you chose wrong. It might be a sign that you've stopped reading her correctly. Noticing when someone actually likes you isn't cheesy. It's essential. And most people in relationships get this completely backwards. You're not failing at love. You might just be missing the signals. By the end of this, you're going to know exactly what genuine affection sounds like, in her words, her energy, and the things she does without even thinking about it. Let's get into it. Most couples operate on one assumption. If she really liked you, you'd feel it constantly, like some kind of constant validation machine. But that's not how real connection works. Most people in relationships think liking someone shows up as grand gestures, big declarations, constant reassurance. But here's the deeper truth. When someone actually likes you, when it goes beyond just being comfortable or used to each other, it shows up in small, consistent, almost invisible moments. The way she texts you, the little things she notices, the questions she asks about your day even when she's tired. Her nervous system is reading you constantly, not consciously, but completely. And when she feels safe with you, her affection comes out sideways, subtle, almost shy. It's not that she's holding back. It's that real liking doesn't announce itself. It lives in the details. This is the shift. Stop looking for fireworks and start listening for embers. Because the 7 things I'm about to tell you, they sound small, but they're everything. When she says these, she's telling you, in her own language, that you're the one she wants to keep. Most couples get used to casual texting, back and forth updates, logistics, who owes who money, when's dinner. What most people never develop is genuine, random thinking. Here's what changes everything. When she says, "I've been thinking about you," and she says it out of nowhere, not in response to you saying it first, something powerful is happening. Her brain is quietly registering that you're occupying real estate in her head when there's no logical reason for it. That's not clinginess. That's not neediness. That's the unconscious mark of someone whose nervous system has decided you matter. Not because you did something, but because of who you are to her. Contrast that with the version where you reach out and get a one-word answer back. Something like, "yeah," or "cool," or "okay." The conversation dies. You feel the drift immediately. Your brain starts building a story about how she's not that into you anymore. But then, there's the other version. You didn't text first for once, and she texts you, saying, "Hey, haven't heard from you. I was just thinking about you earlier." That's her nervous system reaching for you when you weren't even reaching for her. And when that happens, the walls between you start to come down, without either of you having to say a word. Here's the part no one talks about. Most people in relationships make decisions separately. Big ones, small ones, they just handle it. The implicit agreement becomes, "I'll take care of my world, you take care of yours." But when she says, "I want your opinion on something," even something small, even something that doesn't actually need your input, she's doing something emotionally significant. She's choosing to include you inside her decision-making world. Her brain is saying, "I care what he thinks." Not because I need permission, but because his perspective has become part of how I see things. That's the kind of connection that doesn't look dramatic from the outside, but it's deep. Compare that to the disconnecting version. You bring something up, a decision, a plan, something you're excited about, and she responds with, "Oh, okay, sure, whatever." Or, "Yeah, that's fine," without actually engaging with it. You can feel it. The conversation was real on the surface, but underneath, she wasn't actually present with you. Now, contrast it with this. You mention you got a job opportunity you're unsure about, and she says, "Wait, tell me more. I really want to understand this fully before you decide." She asks follow-up questions. She pushes back on your assumptions. She engages like your decision actually matters to her. That's when your partner stops feeling like a problem to manage and starts feeling like a person to come home to. Here's the one most couples never figure out. Laughter in a relationship is not just about humor. It's about resonance. When she laughs at something you said, not a polite laugh, not a socially appropriate laugh, but a real one, the kind that catches her off guard, her nervous system is telling you something important. You fit together in that moment. Her brain isn't analyzing whether you're funny, it's just responding. That's the highest compliment available. Because genuine laughter is involuntary. It's a signal her body is sending that she feels safe enough with you to let go. Most people in long-term relationships stop trying to be funny for each other. Comfort takes over. The comedy dies. And that silence, that absence of shared laughter, is one of the sneakiest forms of drift. Here's what nobody explains. You can be in a relationship where nothing is technically wrong, but the laughter is gone. And you'll feel that emptiness without being able to name it. She texts you something random, a meme, a video, a story from her day, and writes, "That made me laugh so hard, had to send it to you." Not because it's the funniest thing in the world, but because she wanted to share that feeling with you specifically. What moves through her in that moment is, "I forgot how good it feels to be chosen as the person I want to share this with." That's not small. That's everything. Here's where it gets really interesting. This one seems simple, obvious, but the depth underneath it is enormous. When she says, "I missed you," not as a greeting, not as a habit, but as an actual statement of feeling she had while you were apart. She's telling you that your absence created a felt gap in her experience. That's the language of emotional availability. She's not ashamed to say she needed you. She's not performing independence as a shield against vulnerability. Something in him is saying, "She doesn't need me to fix this. She just needs me to stay." But here's the pattern that kills this. Partners who hear, "I missed you," and immediately jump to logistics. "Yeah, I was stuck in meetings all day. It was crazy. Anyway, what do you want for dinner?" The emotional moment gets buried under information exchange. What she was offering you was a feeling, and it just got redirected into a conversation about food. Or worse, some people hear, "I missed you," and they feel pressured. They get defensive. "Missed you too" becomes a script rather than a sensation. When she says those words, slow down. Let them land. Let the moment be real. Because what's moving through her is, "I was gone, and something was missing. And now you're back, and I feel that filling in." That's genuine. That's rare. That's her telling you that you matter to her experience of the world. Most couples default to parallel play after the first year. You have your thing. She has her thing. You do your separate hobbies, your separate friend groups, your separate lives that happen to intersect at home. And that works. Until it doesn't. When she starts saying, "I want to do that with you," about things that are genuinely hers, her hobby, her class, her plan with her friends, she's not just being inclusive. She's trying to make you part of her inner world. Her emotional map is starting to include you as a permanent feature. She feels something. She wants to share it with you. Not because you asked, not because you're obligated, but because her instinct is to pull you in. This is what the anxious avoidant cycle looks like when it's actually working. She wants closeness, and when you respond by entering her world voluntarily, her nervous system registers safety. She's not chasing. You're not pulling away. You're just both turning toward each other over and over. Compare that to the disconnecting version. She invites you to something and you respond with, I don't really know those people, or, that's your thing, you have fun. Subtle, casual, but she feels the door closing. Now contrast it with this. She mentions a pottery class she's been wanting to try and says, actually, could we go together? I think you'd actually enjoy it. And you say yes, not because you want to paint bowls, but because you want to be inside her experience. And she feels that. Her brain says, he's choosing to show up for my world. That's what long-term intimacy actually looks like. Not the big romantic gestures, the daily invitations to be included. This is the one that stops people in their tracks. Most people in relationships avoid thinking about us as a project. They just live in it. They react to it. They let it happen. But they don't think about it, because thinking about it means acknowledging that it's something that requires attention. When she says, I was thinking about us, and she's bringing it up, not you, she's doing something most people never do. She's making your relationship a conscious object in her mind. She's asking, what are we? Where are we going? What do I want this to become? That kind of reflective thinking is the marker of someone who's genuinely committed to the relationship, not just existing, but thriving. Here's what changes everything about this one. Most people hear, I was thinking about us, and immediately brace for something bad. Here it comes. Something's wrong. She's going to bring up a complaint or a problem. And their nervous system goes into protection mode before she even finishes her sentence. But sometimes, most of the time, when it's real, she's not criticizing. She's dreaming. She's wondering. She's imagining a future that includes both of you. What moves through her is, I want this to grow. I want us to keep becoming something. And I'm not scared to say that out loud. So when she says these words, lean in. Not defensively, not with your guard up, but with genuine curiosity about what she's about to share. Because she's offering you something most people never offer. A vision of a shared future that starts with her choosing to think about it. Here's what I want you to take out of this. These 7 things aren't a checklist. They're not a test. They're not a way to measure whether someone is really into you. They're a map of what genuine affection actually looks like when it shows up in real life. It's quiet. It's consistent. It comes sideways. And when you learn to recognize these moments, when you stop waiting for the dramatic and start seeing the subtle, your entire relationship changes. You stop asking, do they like me? And start living inside the answer that's already there, expressed in 100 small ways you were just missing. You stop reacting and start responding, and your partner will feel the difference before you've even said a word. These aren't tips for a better relationship. They're the beginning of becoming the kind of partner who sees clearly, who notices what's actually there instead of what's missing. And that changes everything about what's possible between you and the person you chose. This is what I know for certain. The couples who last aren't the ones who never struggle. They're the ones who learn to read each other accurately, who stop guessing and start understanding, who make the invisible visible between them.